Hi everyone, it's Roberta from Roberta's Artistic Adventures. I'm back. This is where I left off when I was working on this project the other day. Remember, it started off with a painted background mixed with gesso and a pavement gray acrylic paint. And then I did layers and layers of stripe painting with this old paintbrush. And then I used various stencils and stamping techniques. And then the last thing I did was I splattered, well, two last things I did. One was I created an orange paint that I painted little hearts with. And then I did the gray pavement watered down acrylic paint and did some splatter. And I had a bunch of this color of the paint left over because I didn't really like it too much on this project, so I only did a little bit. The leftover I took and I painted it on this piece of paper, and then I took the remainder of that pavement gray acrylic paint that was watered down, and I splattered it all over this, over and over, till I got the fine mist and a few of the larger drops. And so I really love how this turned out. I'm not really sure what I plan on doing with it. This one is some black Nina paper. It's only 32 pound weight, so it's very flimsy. It's like copy paper. But I just wanted to have some fun seeing what it looks like when you paint on it. And of course I put white gesso, and then I did other colors. I did some of the lemon zest dilutions. I did some distress abandoned coral, lucky clover, fossilized amber. And then I used regular acrylic paints as well, and just did a lot of different stenciling on this. And this is another piece of it's actually the other half. It's actually one big long piece that I cut in half. And so this one, I just did a bunch of different paints on it as well. And actually on this one, I actually started with the Key West color. And then I added some other colors, and with this one all I did was take the paintbrush with the uneven bristles, dipped it in paint, and just did this. And then when there was no more paint, then I just kept doing it, and I just got the feathery little lines on there that I got. So that's what I got with those two. On this one, I want to do some more circles with all of these. This one I'm going to do with the ink, and these I'm going to do with the paint. And I was going to show you, I have this old Tupperware container. It used to have a bunch of stencils in it, but I just have a bunch of things that I can use for stamping or stenciling or just making marks. This is an old silicone mat that I cut down, and this is from a pumpkin kit when you scrape out your pumpkin, and it has this little edge so I could dip in paint and draw, or I could even put down a layer of gesso and do like Jamie Lynn today, where she made corrugated marks by drawing the lines in there, because that would be excellent for that. And different cards for making lines or whatever. Some punchinella. This is with stars, and as you can see I taped off a section so that I could just stencil one star out of all of them. And this is a piece of the punchinella stencil that actually got heated with a heat tool, and so the circle, it melted it, and so the circle's here like an oval. Large bubbles bubble wrap. And this is some more punchinella, but a different shape. This is a snowflake, and it's really, really delicate, so I kind of keep it covered up so it doesn't get hung up on things. Like it's getting hung up right now on my hands. Just even the my fingerprints, just that little bit, it gets hung up on. And this is something that I could stamp. This right here is this flat edge, and I could use that. I've used a peanut butter lid. It's got ridges, so I dip in the paint and roll it. If I dip this in the paint, I would get some ridges. Another silicone mat. A little knife with two different edges. My little Scotty dog. My little gingerbread cookie man. Lots of different things. And this is the little mat that you put under your knee when you're working out in the garden. And I used a piece of punchinella and laid it over it and heated it. I heated this first, and then I put the punchinella over it when this was hot, and it left the imprint of the punchinella. So if I ink this up, I will get those little black dots. This one wasn't used yet. This one was, and it has a little crackly circle. I think I'll use that one today. There's an old beer cap. I don't drink beer or any alcohol, but I just picked it up and thought I might use that sometime. This one is from a deodorant lid. It's that little protective cover. Take it off, you get a nice oval print. I used one of my little log cabin blocks, glued a button on that. I can use that to get marks. Lots of other little teeny tiny things in here. These old combs to get marks if you scrape through the paint. So, and I want one of these little ones. It's really tiny. Do more circles. So I'm going to set this off to the side. And I'm going to pull out some colors. And on this one I'm going to use this medium size circle. So today was a beautiful day. A little bit nippy. It was like in the 40s. So my toes got cold. I have a condition called Raynaud's, and it means that my toes, when they get cold, the blood vessels actually have a spasm, and they close off, shutting down, and it prevents blood from supplying the tissues in my toes. And so they actually are ice cold, like an ice cube, and they turn white or purple or dark dusky blue, and have to get in and warm them. So I'm really looking forward to the warm weather. But it was pretty out today, but still just the 40s right now. And I'm going over some of these because I want it a little bit more of a defined circle. I mean, it's okay if it's not perfect. Let's see this one a little bit more. My camera almost didn't start working today, so I'm going to need to get me a new camera. It's time for a new one anyway. The one I have is a Sony that I've had for at least 7 years, if not longer. Okay, so that's going to need to dry, so I'm going to put the paint away and pick out another color. I do want to use some more white. I want to go back to the Caribbean. So I'm going to do the Caribbean, and I'm just going to go ahead and put it in this pile of paint that I have over here. The pink that I use. It's okay if they kind of mix a little bit. I'm not worried about that. And I'm using the much larger circle on this one. And this circle is not as stiff as the smaller one, so it actually, if I squeezed it, it could turn into like an oval, but I'm going to try to keep it in a circle shape. I love how all the colors are going together and just adding so many different layers. I need a couple of them kind of going off. Okay, that's enough of that color. So it's Caribbean and the pink. I'm going to do some with this little tiny one. And I'm going to do that with the green. And that's kiwi. And I don't want to put this kiwi green where the blue or the pink were at. So I'll put this one off by itself. And this one will be harder just to get the circle because it kind of fills up with paint. So we're going to see what it's going to do and just go with it. And it's actually picking up dollops of paint. Almost like suction. It's funny. It's not suction, it's just that it's being pushed up into it when I'm pouncing in it. It's just interesting. I know I keep dropping things. Alrighty. I know as you guys are watching that you're looking at it and saying, here, you didn't get anything here. I know I do that when I watch other people and I see they do a lot of stamping or stenciling in one particular area and totally miss another area. Now I'm just trying to pounce out that little bit that's in the center. And that's it, so I'm going to leave that one. Let me get my towel. Okay, so now for this, I'm going to use ink on this one and ink for this one. And I'll be using the peacock feathers. And so I'm not getting like a full circle, I'm just getting a dollop of ink. in each of the little pores of this, so it's picking it up and then stamping it down. So that's a whole new interesting look too. I'm trying to make sure I don't get where there's wet paint, because I don't want to have wet paint ending up in my ink pad. Let's see, like I have 2 of them there. And then this, there must be some moisture in there, because look how there's actually moisture in a lot. The ink is sucking up moisture from in here. I don't know if you guys can see it. That is just stamped, but look, it's sucking up some moisture and turning wet. That is interesting. Honestly, I liked it better when it wasn't doing that, but sometimes this is how interesting new techniques come into play. Okay, done with that one. And then I think I want to go with the purple. And I want to do 2 rings. I really like how skinny these lines are on this. Totally awesome. And I can still see some of the circles that I've put down before. There's 2 rings there, there, there. I'm sure you can't see them from the camera, but in real life I can see them. And I think that's about enough of this. Just have to finish this last little bit that I picked up. There we go. And then just work the rest of it off. So that is this layer of paint and ink on this project. And I'm going to do something on this paper next. I'm going to end this video and come back and do some more on this and cut it up and use it in some way. And that'll be on a new video. Thank you for watching. Let me know if you liked what I did today. Give me a thumbs up. Click on subscribe. Click click on the arrow to share, click on the bell so that you can be notified. Leave me a comment, and I appreciate you watching. You guys have a blessed day. Thank you.